And so one of the things that's actually happening in our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of black families with younger black men and black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together.
That's right.
During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America the last 10 years, and I say it because it's my contemporaries, it's Wesley's contemporaries, you're starting to see more black people be married in homes, raising kids. It's when you...
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. How you doing today, sir?
I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm great. Yo, before we start, like, subscribe, hit that bell button so you keep up with everything that we talk about. Also, don't forget our sponsor, Crime Scene Seasoning, brought to you by Doc Loves the Kids organization helping out local communities. Now, I want to start off today with Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds, he is a representative of Florida. I mean, coming from Florida with John D. Santos. Is that his name? Yes. Yeah, you knew it was going to be some messed up stuff. Anyways, he suggested on Tuesday that Black American families were more together during the era of segregation known as Jim Crow. He said, you see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. During Jim Crow, more black people were just conservative. Black people have always been conservative-minded, but more black people voted conservatively, Donald said. Let me give you a little facts. First of all, I know that's the reason why your daddy left you. Number two, yes, black folks were together because we weren't allowed to do nothing else. There was a thing called segregation. We weren't allowed to go places. My dad told me about segregation because he lived it. He had a white friend. They used to go to the movies together, and he had to sit on one side, and his white friend had to sit on the other side. And when the movie started, he would jump over to the other side to watch the film with his friends. All right, my parents lived through segregation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear nothing from him. Number two, the only thing that he said that was right was that the thing that destroyed the black family was the war on poverty. When they would give black folks, they'd give the black women, they'd be like, hey, we'll give you food stamps and all this stuff, but you got to kick the man out. But you know what I'm saying? Like that this guy is the reason. He was the one that Harriet Tubman carried the shotgun for.
This is what I'm going to say. I disagree even with that premise of that right there. People, that's the whole welfare queen, racist trope that they love to use. That's bullshit. That's not what destroyed the black family. What destroyed the black family was the war on drugs. That happened pretty much right after the civil rights movement. I think 65 when the Civil Rights Act passed in like 1972 maybe or 68.
Yeah,
maybe even
78, wasn't it?
68 is either 68 or 72, one and two. Because that's it's when Nixon got in office. So it was like between 68 and 72. Basically, right after they killed Martin Luther King, they started the war on drugs. You know, and basically they pointed that war on drugs towards black people. It was said one of the administrators inside of Nixon's White House. They were speaking. It's on. They have record of this where the guy said basically the war on drugs was meant to destroy the Black Power, basically the Black Power movement. You know, so that's what it was set up for. They went out and they went after black men, and so taking the black man out of the community meant taking the black man out of the household as well. So that's what truly destroyed the black house. So it wasn't somebody coming around and giving somebody a welfare check and just because they felt like, oh, I got this welfare check, I don't have to work. Just like what would be better, having a man in the house? A person's going to want a man in the house. I'm not saying that it ultimately didn't help to precipitate more of this as people began to get money. The men were gone, and so a woman felt like she was independent and on her own anyways because he wasn't around.
And also the feminist movement. The feminist movement helped helped it too. But this guy's a fool, bro. Like black folks, when I was a kid in the 80s, 70s and stuff, black families together. They're still together. He's just going off the narrative that they push on TV that's not owned by any black folks. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him talking about how the European American family's been destroyed from the opiate crisis.
And the number one people who are on welfare is the European American family. So that's also just
hold on now, brother. That's not by Kappa. See, there's more white people than there are black people. So, but fuck that. Now, excuse my language.
But still, if you're sitting at over 60-something% of the people who are on welfare are are your people. It still doesn't matter. It's not even just per capita who's what, where, when, or why. It's like you're not even over 60% of the population right now. So that's just what it is. There's a lot of people who are white who are on welfare, but they like to. He's basically just going out and pushing that line for them because that's what they want us to push. Oh, the Democrats destroyed the family. No, what happened was even after, because he said a lot of blacks were conservative at the time. Yes, because the Republican Party were more or less the party of abolition. The abolitionists was the people who wanted to get rid of slavery. And so, but when Lincoln died, the next guy I believe was Johnson who came in. I think it was Andrew Johnson or something like that.
He was a Southerner.
He was a Southerner. He was a Republican too, I believe.
Yeah.
At the same time, he came in and got rid of. We were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. People know
it was actually supposed to be a piece of land. I don't know if it was in the Carolinas or it was in Virginia, but it's supposed to be a strip of land right there on the coast, and that was the 40 acres and a mule was supposed to come from. But you know what I'm saying? For this, Byron Donald, let me tell you a little something about your future. Okay, this is what's going to happen. You remember Omarosa? You remember Candace Owens? Where are they at now? That's what they're doing with you. You can't come back to the picnic, bro. They're going to use you to put all this information out. Then when they get done with your black ass, they're going to kick you to the curb, and you can't even come parlay with us no more. Now, I want to say this, too. Democrats ain't shit either. They've done nothing for the black community except for come around and think they can dance and play jazz music, and we're just going to do and vote for them every time. Well, we're hip to your game, and we're hip to the Republican game. See, people need to understand this. Black folks have been saving this country since the conception. So let's keep that 100. There's two birds. There's one bird, two wings, and there's black people under it carrying it. So, Byron Donald, you're a fool. I know who you're trying to get, but ain't nobody like you, bro.
I feel like, at the same time, though, I do have a different stance. I feel like Democrats have done a lot more for the black community. I won't just say it's strictly for the black community, but, I mean, the laws that they're trying to pass, and most of the laws that they're trying to pass or have passed, for the black.
They ain't done nothing specifically for black folks. After they passed, civil rights movements is for everybody. That's for everyone. Wait. That was not specifically for black folks. Everyone gets that.
Everyone gets it, but who was the people who we were the number 2 race in this country at that time by far?
Yeah, but who gets people. What's the name? One law.
And there's like you always say, legacy black people who've been here for a long period of time.
Cool. Give me two laws. That the Democrats have passed specifically for black folks.
I mean, what laws?
Give me one.
What's most laws that anyone's passed specifically for anyone?
The Asians just got one during COVID. Israel's not even part of our country, and they got laws.
Anti-lynching laws, if we want to say that. I mean,
they don't even clear them lynching anymore. Every time they find a black dude hanging in a tree, they say he killed himself.
But you understand
what kind of black person hangs himself?
There's anti-lynching laws. There's a lot of laws. There was desegregation laws. People say that was for everybody. Yes,
it's for everyone.
Everyone's able to benefit from it, but we were the ones who were front line pushing for this because it was more of us than was anyone else.
Of course, we're the only ones that needed it.
Say it again.
We're the only ones that needed it.
Say it again.
I already said it twice. We're the only ones. Of course, we're pushing for some laws. We're like, look, stop driving into my neighborhood and killing me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. So there's been a number of things. I won't say that they've ever done anything too much. I won't say they've done too much specifically for black people. There's a lot more things that we need to push for and make sure it gets done. That's for us.
I know. It's election year. What we need to do is hold our vote and tell them we want substantials right now. You're already in office. You have the power. They're trying to get mad at 50 Cent going over there talking to Republicans and stuff, but it's just like Ice Cube did. Look, I'm talking to the people that are holding the power. I'm not going to sit here and be like, protest, don't talk to them. No, I'm talking to the people that are holding the power. Absolutely. Black folks need to get to a collective. We have 2 months to do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Get in the collective, voice what we want. And if you don't give it to us, we'll get a country right back to the Republicans. Because you want to know why? Because under Donald Trump, everybody suffered. That wasn't with him. And I was gleeful. They're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be bad for you. You're a person of color. I said, ma'am, I was born in America. What you talking about bad for me?
And like I said before too, you got to watch out for Byron Donald. He's a person he's a very intelligent black man. He's the most well-spoken.
So is Uncle Ruckus.
He's the most well-spoken Republican out of all of them. I would say him and Tim Scott, very well-spoken. Tim Scott just has way too much. He's way too whitewashed. I mean, when it comes to being a black politician, Tim Scott is. Now, Byron Donald, he kind of has that feel. He can push a line and really push and get inroads into the Democratic Party, especially with black men, because he kind of gives off that feel. But at the same time, if you listen to what he's saying and you pay attention to who he really is as far as like what his politics are, he's the same exact person as any Republican who would be in his position.
Tim Scott looked like one of them people that wear one of them hats with a visor and no top, and he puts suntan lotion on his nose and has a ultraviolet fanny pack.
That's probably who he is.
And he got them old school ass head. He got an MP4 player with an old school headphones on, the big orange ones. That's why I look at Tim Scott every time. He looks so good. I love you, Donald Trump. Huh, huh, huh.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't see Byron Donald.
Tim Scott looks like a black thumb.
Byron Donald would really come out there and say whatever it took to get Trump back in office. Like I said, he's very intelligent man. He has like a finance background. We got to watch out for him.
Tim Scott looks in the mirror and wants to call the police.
Okay. To the next one, man. Hey, remember I've been telling you about this. I've been telling you about this group AIPAC.
Yes.
It said propaganda machine. New York Congress member Jamal Bowman on AIPAC's $25 million campaign to unseat him. They spent $25 million to get this guy. We speak with Congressman Jamal Bowman of New York, one of the top targets for pro-Israel groups seeking to oust lawmakers who have led calls for a ceasefire in Gaza. Bowman is a former Bronx middle school principal who won his seat in 2020 before becoming a member of the so-called squad of progressives in Congress. The powerful lobby group AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, could spend as much as $25 million to support George Latimer, Bowman's rival for the Democratic nomination in New York's 16th district, which would make it the most expensive primary fight in U.S. history. It's unprecedented, says Bowman, who calls it despicable for the group to target him for his anti-war stance. They don't want anyone to be critical of the state of Israel, even though an honest critique will lead to the ongoing safety and security of the people of Israel and hopefully
that's so crazy.
Palestine.
That's so crazy how they're like, you can't, they're trying to make it where you can't criticize them for anything. I saw that before the war in Gaza, they were saying that. Like, you know, it's crazy. Macklemore came out and made a song. And the thing was him, like, they shut him down because he came out and he just had a big nose on, being goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like a fake prosthetic nose. And they were like, oh, you're making fun of Jewish people. And this.
When did he made a song about the war?
Yeah, about the war and got recently.
He had a big nose on?
No, this is years ago. He came out, he was just goofing around, he had a costume on, right? Just had a big nose on. And they just jumped on him like, oh, you're talking about you're making fun of Jewish people. Remember, even Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was like, yo, don't forget, they even killed Jesus. And then Jennifer Aniston came out like, oh, that's anti-Semitic, da-da-da-da-da. And like, what are you talking about? These people did kill, they were talking about his friends, people's closest to him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy how they try to say this one country that's not in America, but they have so much money and influence. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's nerve-wracking and it's upsetting.
When you put up $25 million for a House of Representative Congress seat, that's a huge amount of money. I mean, you could probably get one spent for $1 or $2 million, maybe $4 or $5 million. I'm not absolutely sure. It's New York, so a little bit more money there. But at the same time, $25 million from one super PAC, from one lobbyist corporation, they really want you out there. He's a member of the squad, which has AOC, Omar, and it's a few other people, like women of color, pretty much people of color, all
Somalian lady.
Yes,
she's from
Omar,
Somalia.
and Omar, and I think it's another one too, as well as a few other ones as well that are all a member of this group. And so, I mean, they're spending a lot of money to get these people out of office. We need to really pay attention. We keep saying this. I'm gonna keep harping on this, to AIPAC and what these PAC organizations are out here doing. This is what we need to be doing. This is the problem. When we talk about, when he goes into, oh, what have they done for us? It's because what they get our vote, and we don't come back again for 4 more years and went to the presidential races. It sparked up, and that's where we get sparked up again. We forget there's House members that we need to vote for, and there's Senate members that we need to vote for, and at the same time, there's mayors and there's Congress and there's city councilmen in your neighborhoods.
Yeah, you got to start from the bottom.
You got to vote across the board, and then at the same time, not just voting, have the power of people who are putting money into a lobby for us to make these people do what we need them to do, because this is what they're doing. They're making sure that their dollars are being spent in the right place to be able to get the people in place to get the job done that they need to have.
They just had the House pass, like we said on the last show, they had the House pass a bill to sanction the court that's going to hold them accountable.
Yep. I mean, and they jumped at doing it. Even after the White House said don't do it, they didn't care. They were getting it done for them. Basically, they just want to, they know that it's not going to get passed by the Senate. They just want to be on record for saying that they did it. And they want anyone to be on record for being against it, because whoever's against it, they know they're not getting money. Right now, this is what made this war so hard on the Democratic Party, period. Because if Joe Biden's against this war right now during an election year, I'm defunding all your candidates. And then you're giving somebody $25 million. Imagine what you're giving everybody else.
That's a lot of money.
They're probably spending hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars on campaigns, man, across America. But you got to remember, you know how much Israel gets from us every single year? Like $3.3 billion. And however we give it to them, they can spend it and do whatever they want with it. I'd take $1 billion of that and put it back in your pocket just to control what's going on in your politics. Who wouldn't? This is why we shouldn't be giving them anything.
Shouldn't be giving nothing. They're not struggling country
at all. You know what I mean? They you know what we're going to end up ultimately doing? We've already talked about. Joe Biden's already said it. I went on our page and we spoke about it. Basically, that they want us to come in after the war is over and help clean up and rebuild Gaza. Why the fuck would we do that?
Remember, they were trying to make it a law where if the college students protested against Israel, they were going to send American civilians, American citizens over there to go rebuild.
I mean, not even just go rebuild, be a part of the armed forces, all that. This is the kind of control that this pact has over America. They've set an unprecedented amount of control. They control, our House Speaker. They're controlling everybody, Democrats and Republicans. First, Schumer came out and asked for Netanyahu for Netanyahu to step down. Then he came out and was like, hold an election. You guys need to hold an election right now. But now all of a sudden he's endorsed Netanyahu coming and speaking in front of a joint session of Congress.
And then Donald Trump was just he was just on Sean Hannity calling Chuck Schumer. He say he's acting like a Palestinian. That's not how I want a president to speak. I don't care what you talk about. You don't really single. That means you have disdain for these people.
Absolutely, he has disdain for him. He's the president who came out and named Jerusalem as the capital.
He sure did
of Israel. And that's been as contentious. That Jerusalem was split apart intentionally.
Jerusalem is a neutral place. It's the Holy Land, and so everyone owns it.
Palestinians and for Jewish people. It was intentionally done. He came out and pandered more than anyone else. This is why we should never just sit out. I mean, I definitely am against us ever sitting out any election, especially when we know our best interests are not at hand. They're just not. Whether or not we are uniformed and have a unified front, we need to go out and re-elect the people who are there, and then continue to push forward what we need to do to get ourselves ready for the next election cycle.
And this message goes out to all those people that got 17 email accounts because you keep trying to use them free trials on Netflix. Put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
Really quick though, I know we got some Russian ships coming locally. 4 Russian ships, including a nuclear-powered submarine, will arrive in Havana next week. Cuban officials say, citing historically friendly relationships between both nations as the tensions escalate over Western military support for Ukraine and its war with Russia. Now, a long time ago, we had the Cold War. Mm-hmm. It was the same thing. And now we're going to have Russian ships off the coast.
It's happened before. This is normal. This is not something. It's gonna be more alarming for us right now because we're not used to hearing about it. But this is they've always done exercises with Cuba, and I think they're bringing in Venezuela. And this is kind of what almost like sparked something within just me thinking like, man, okay, this is why we don't have good relations still with Venezuela because Russia
or Cuba.
I mean, it's been for a long time with Cuba. We should have already kind of went in there.
We kind of were cool with Cuba, and then Donald Trump got in there, and then supposedly somebody was attacking American people with like sonic sounds when they found out it was Russians that were doing it. So they cut off Cuba, and that's why Cuba has those old cars there because they kind of keep fixing the same ones because of the sanctions.
But we need to you can't have these people in our backyard with some of our Cuba's really close to America, super close.
Yeah, them people swam from Cuba to Florida.
Venezuela is the number one has the number one oil reserves in the entire world. There's no way we need to have this heat. If it were me, you never call for this. We need to topple. I would not want to topple a government like that, because you could find somebody to put in power and set it up.
Or you just do like Donald Trump said and take it.
I wouldn't take the country. It's not about that. I think it just get rid of that government that's there right now. That's not pretty much in coordinates with America has going on. You don't want. They were going to build a base they're talking about building a base in Venezuela. This is part of when Hugo Chavez was in office. So this is when Russia was thinking about doing that. So it's a really big development, especially with the way Putin's talking. He's being real aggressive.
He's like right nuclear.
Everything he's talking. This is why I'm telling you guys. Why are we in Ukraine? This is why we're in Ukraine, because this motherfucker is an aggressive motherfucker, man. Period. He just is. We sit back and act like we don't see that he's been attacking countries ever since. He basically came into power at the end of the 90s, into the 90s, early 2000s. He got into power. And basically by 2008, which is 8 to 10 years after he got into power, he attacked one of his former, not even had to attack, just set up a cooperation where he can have people overthrow small parts of Georgia, which was, formerly a part of the USSR. Now he's already into Ukraine. What do we think he's going to do? What do we, we act like we don't see this shit.
He's going to take over the streets like Marlo did in The Wire.
We better pay attention right now and fight right now, because if not, he's already showing you what he's talking about doing. He's angry because we're letting them strike inside of fucking
he said it. He was like, "Hey,
So
he should have been. He was upset when Ukraine was getting weapons from everybody else. Because if Ukraine wasn't getting weapons from everyone else, the war would have been over in a week.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
They were already at Kiev within 2 weeks of starting the war.
Yeah, it would have been over. Weapons. So he's been holding back, but now he's like, look, I'm dealing with that, but now you want to use your weapons to strike my country? Nah, we can just get it in.
Yeah, they're using North Korean bombs to strike inside of Ukraine. What's the fucking difference?
Well, the difference is Ukraine ain't got the missiles to strike North Korea. I mean, they could try, but North Korea's going to attack them. So Russians like, look, if you're going to use American bombs to bomb us, I'm going to just bomb America. You know what they're going to do? They're going to stop giving you weapons because now they're using them weapons on us.
I mean, he don't want to ever bomb America. It'd be the worst decision of his entire life. But to tell you what else he did say, he said that he would he's going to think about starting to fund our people who want to attack America and give them long range weapons that can strike America, strike Western countries. He's talking about not only us, Europe, and everywhere else. So he's looking at people probably African countries, maybe Middle Eastern countries that he's looking at giving them long range weapons. For him even threatening us, we just put a foot up Putin's ass. We just do, man. That's why he's not gonna fuck with us too much. I don't believe he's not that dumb.
Why not though? If he ain't got nothing else to lose. That's the whole thing. It's like everyone's like, oh, he's losing troops. He's losing this. I'm like, I ain't got nothing else to lose. Shoot a nuke at him.
Man, listen, he'll lose everything.
He got a bunker. Mark Zuckerberg's still going to be in his bunker.
No, I understand, but he loses China. China's basically his coffers right now is China. They're the ones buying most of all his oil. China and India.
Yeah, but if China's economy is dying.
It does. You still need oil. And they're buying it for dirt cheap. So say oil's at $90 a barrel right now. They've been sanctioned where anyone who wants to buy Russian oil can buy it for $60 a barrel. Most Western bloc countries are not even buying the shit. $60 a barrel from 90 to 60. That's a hell of a discount. You're winning. So they're just buying cheap Russian oil. You still need oil to run your fucking country. No matter if your economy's going through a little bit of a bump, you're still going to need that shit. And so I just feel like right now, man, this is why we're in Ukraine. Because we have somebody like this right here. Next thing you know, he's going to be doing the same thing in fucking Poland, bet money, or Estonia, or Latvia, or one of these other countries that are our NATO members. And then we're going to have to put troops on the ground. They're going to be sending David up, you know what I'm saying? Sending my guy. You know
nope, I'm too old, bro. My name is D-Mac. That's what it says on my birth certificate from Switzerland, sir. Speaking of local stuff, Donald Trump lost his rights to possess a gun after his hush money conviction. Our favorite presidential felon. Now the New York Police Department is reportedly doing something about it. An investigation by the department will likely lead to a revoking of his license. Yeah, so they're going to take. I mean, that's what happens when you become a felon. That's what happens. Some states you can't vote, you know what I mean? You can't own a gun, and that's forever. Actually, no. Out here, you can if you go 7 years without getting in trouble, catching another case, you can go plead to the judge. Oh, Your Honor, I've been a model citizen, and I would like to have my right to vote back. You know, that's one thing that always bothered me about people being felons. I always felt like if you caught a felony, if you can't vote, you can't own a gun, you shouldn't have to pay taxes.
That's how you feel?
Yeah, man. If you can't vote on the stuff that's going to be taxed on you, why should you have to pay? You know, felonies were created just to, once again, Jim Crow. That's when they created felonies to give black people more time. Because it says in the Constitution, look, you can't own personal slaves, but you can put a man in slavery if he's in jail.
Yeah, during Jim Crow, that's when they created the, basically it was vagrancy laws. That's what they called them, vagrancy laws that were set up to where more or less if you after people got out of slavery, if you didn't have a job, then you that was like basically you were committing vagrancy. So now I can put you in jail. And now in the Constitution, you can't. There's no slavery except for a person, except for like servitude or that you're dealing with while you're in prison. And so this is kind of how they got black people back into slavery all over again by saying, oh, we're not going to hire you, and now you become a vagrant, and now you're susceptible to vagrancy laws. So, I mean, but anyway, back to the point that Donald Trump.
Wait, hold on real quick. Well, let me read that to the people because a lot of people are going to be like, that ain't real. Check out the 13th Amendment of the United States. Let's read that really quick. The 13th Amendment of the United States abolishes slavery and involuntary servitude except as punishment for a crime. Now, remember that, folks. They never got rid of slavery. They just moved it. They just kicked the ball down the street.
Pretty much. They understood what the next move was going to be. They were set up for this. This is what Jim Crow is when he's talking about black people were so great under Jim Crow. Everything was fine and dandy under Jim Crow. I can't believe he even said that, man. Like he was saying, I mean, I know we're going backwards, but he set that up for like basically the Republicans were so much better for black people. If you have to tell me that you were good for me 175 years ago, You know what I mean? There's like, listen, I want you guys to look this up.
Dead ass though, bro. If you're telling me I was better off when I couldn't come into your town because the sun hit my back, you'd hang me from a tree and rape my wife, and my life was better. I mean, segregation was cool because we had our own stuff. I'll say that. A lot of black folks would come out and be like, yo, we were better off in segregation. We had our own bus systems. We had our own banks. All we had to do was stop the white people from coming in there to burn it, which we couldn't do because Jim Crow laws allowed them to do it. But other than that, you know, think about it. We eat pecan ice cream because we weren't allowed to have vanilla ice cream because it was only for white people.
That's crazy, man.
Crazy. That's why all black people like pecan. Lord, the reason we like Hennessy is because Hennessy supported black folks back then. That's why we drink Hennessy. They looked out for us. They put programs. They sponsored the HBCUs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, what is our obsession with cognac? Then I found out and I said, drink up, baby.
Hey, like I say, man, it's crazy to me. Like this is when a person commits a felony, they basically take away your right for everything. And so now he's going to be running into that situation where he's going to have to feel the burn of what that takes to have it done to him. And you would hope that a president or someone kind of can learn from this. Hopefully he can learn from this.
I know this is crazy, but if Donald Trump comes to the sentencing court and he got a do-rag on, I'll vote for him.
No, I'm not voting for him ever. I
know. But that'd be funny though. You come in there with a limp.
Look, like last time I'm watching the
call me T-Dog.
I'm watching the January 6th, just some of the hearings from January 6th. Man, this dude proposed martial law just so that make sure that he could take the election. Right before, like during 2020, December 2020, he proposed
Brother,
his group martial law to put in martial law to make sure he can keep the presidency. You guys don't.
A lot of people don't realize, bro. In January, March, April, May, June. In June of that election year, they stopped selling guns. They stopped letting people buy new guns. A lot of people didn't catch that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, yeah, they paused people from buying guns just so there wouldn't be a force to stop them from what they were going to do.
Jesus. But
sorry, I ate a bunch of lasagna and cake. What the fuck? What do you want from me? You know, I'm hungry. You see me sitting here.
That's crazy, man, that we had to go through something like that where you got to stop gun sales because you got crazy people.
No, because they don't want a force to come and attack them. They thought people would buy guns really quickly and get them and then like try to like stop them from overthrowing the government. So they stop people from buying guns. They plan this whole stuff. Yeah. Let me ask you a think piece really quick. Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, his criminal case for a gun charge. Mm-hmm. If you were president and they came after your son like that, and he gets convicted, would you pardon him?
I would.
I would too.
I would. Mean, it is what it is. I mean, I understand with Joe Biden how he's like, I'm not going to pardon my son because, you know, at the same time, it looks like it's impropriety. It gives a look of a lot of you know, cronyism.
Nepotism.
You know, nepotism. Absolutely. You're right. It definitely gives a look of that. And so at the end of the day, he almost can't pardon his son because everyone's going to be like, oh, he did this and you're just going to pardon him. But in reality, if it was anybody else, if it was a Republican, they're pardoning their kids.
I'm saying, Joe, what's his name? Donald Trump. Who was the dude that
pardoned everybody?
He pardoned everybody. These people they're still going back to jail. You know what I'm saying? Who's General Flynn? He pardoned him. Yeah. And Obama was like, look, I don't care what you do. Just don't have Flynn in there. All right. Yeah. He's a traitor. He let him out. Flynn, he let this other guy out that was part of it. Man, I'd fuck him. I'd pardon my son and his homie.
Hey, he knew that Trump had something to do with foreign adversaries. Everybody knew this shit. I'm not trying to say the Russian hoax was real, but this motherfucker right here, man, I don't trust him as far. I mean, nobody should. They were really running a fucking mob organization inside of the White House. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, the whole time. He had an unlimited bank account. He was like, look, we're going to lower taxes. Remember they gave everybody, they made the the PPP loans, right? And then right before they went out, the first ones, he fired the dude that did the oversight. And then all the rich people took all the money. Then they had to set up a whole new system. They're like, hold on, we got to put some more money in there because all the rest of the money's gone. Because like Walmart, McDonald's, Kanye West, they all took the money. Yeah, no oversight. And then now they're trying to come back and double back. And like I remember somebody said, yo, that's going to destroy the black community. Them dudes was out there balling, buying Lambos, stupid stuff, Gucci bags.
They say this another Trump 2020 campaign aide, lawyers charged in a Wisconsin fake electorates case. A 2020 Trump campaign aide and two attorneys who did work for the campaign were charged Tuesday with forgery related to the so-called fake electorate scheme. to undo President Joe Biden's electoral victory in the state. The charges against former campaign aide Mike Roman and attorneys Kenneth Chesborough and Jim Tropis are the last in a series of criminal prosecutions related to former President Donald Trump's attempt to reverse his loss to Biden in the 2020 election. The criminal complaint in this case alleges that the defendants were a part of a conspiracy to present a certificate of purported electoral votes with individuals who were not Wisconsin's duly appointed electors, said Wisconsin's Attorney General Josh Call in a statement. Now,
you know what's crazy? It's crazy how they wait till the election year to do all this. That's like me getting on a roller coaster and then I threw up on everybody on the roller coaster, right? And then I get off the roller coaster and I'm about to get right back on it. They're telling me, you can't get back on it. And I'm like,
you know
what I'm saying? It's like that. It's like, what the hell?
They should have brought these charges up on these guys. That's why it looks so bad right now. That's why it looks like you're attacking him.
Yeah.
I feel them. They probably felt like maybe if he just stays away, we don't have to do this, and it's not going to like divide the country like it is. Because
they try to give him a choice.
They're going to divide the country. If you were to push after Trump, you were going to divide the country.
Hold on, Mr. Wesley. The country is already divided.
But it's different, man.
No. Think about it. They had a report the other day that said 50% of Americans think Donald Trump should suspend his campaign over his felonies. And I was like, well, yeah, 50% of people, America doesn't like him. Of course they want him to. The other 50% gave him $58 million. Like, keep going, brother.
Gave him $200 million, like 3 days, they said. You know what I'm saying?
You're just like the ones you hate.
You feel me? It's crazy, man. But that's kind of how I feel, man. Like when you got a guy who's I'm telling everybody right now, he should not be able to run for president. He should be in jail. We talk about this consistently. I don't want to keep on hashing.
You couldn't even work for the government if you had a felony, but he gets to run it.
He gets to run the government. That's a crazy thing.
I couldn't work for the shipyard because I had bad credit. All right. I told him to call me Noah Jobby. All right. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. I was like, well, can I get the job to fix my credit? No, they expected me to go get a job somewhere else and start fixing my credit. And I never went back. I never went back. I didn't want to work for there. They wanted me to hang off the side of boats and paint them. And I'm scared of heights, bro. I stand on top of a chair and I don't even like it. I couldn't. That's why I'm glad I couldn't dunk in basketball. You know what I'm saying? I'd be up there like, yo, get the ladder, cuz. Get the ladder.
Hey, like I'm saying, man, it's just crazy that now even in Wisconsin, they got another case going right here.
Yeah.
There was 7 states, man, that they put fake electorates in. People got to really understand what happened here. Your state has a duly elected group of people who comes in with a tally of your votes, gives your state's electors to one of the candidates, whether it's a Democrat or the Republican. Whoever won the state, that's who these duly elected electorates come in and they give the state's votes to. What he did is he went and got his own group of people illegally and said, okay, you guys are going to go in here and be my electors, fake electorates. Just go inside and advocate. They got him on tape, man.
Yeah.
They got a video of him saying, and who does the state of Wisconsin elect? They said Donald Trump. Man, listen, bro, the state of Wisconsin was won by Joe Biden.
And they brought some laws saying that, like, it was something like if you don't believe in the people that were, then like that's why they made their own or whatever. But I was just like, I mean, they really tried to overthrow the government.
Somebody keeps on trying to feed me down too. Like if it's a disputed election, if it's only disputed by the people who lost,
yeah, exactly.
If you're the only person who disputes, if it's
no, that's what they did. They said it was something. It was something like that. If it was disputed, then you could bring in your own electors, which is just ridiculous.
But it's not being disputed by the state. The state told you who won. He's calling people at the state like, hey. Are you sure? You're like, yeah, man, you lost. Even in Georgia,
they had Lindsey Graham on there. Like, can you find at least 13,000 votes? I mean, there's somewhere you can find them.
They got Trump talk about. I need you to
this
find
is Lady G.
11,750 votes, something like that. He said they got him on tape saying this. He's arguing back and forth with the guy in Georgia, telling him, "Hey, you guys, I won that state by 400,000 votes. There's no way I didn't win that state." He's like, "Bruh, you lost." And this is a Republican telling him this. And so this stuff right here is the stuff I really feel like he should be worried about the charges for. This is what they should have been charging him with to begin with. That other stuff to me is like,
well, no, the Florida espionage one is huge. That's the biggest one to me. I know I was bringing it up, but that's major to me. That's espionage. That's you're selling secrets, American secrets to a foreign country, bro. There ain't no coming back from that.
But they say that every president ends up with like top secret documents.
Yeah, but I don't see Obama going back to Kenya like, yo, homie, I got it. Y'all gonna win the bobsled time this time. The Jamaicans ain't getting you.
Hey, listen, you remember when yesterday I think you brought up the fact that there was a lady who got she was getting $25,000 a month or something like that, and they went up to $30,000 a month with her. She's the one I believe that they said that she was the one who she witnessed him showing off top secret documents at a party or something like that to different people who had no clearance to see these top secret documents. She witnessed that. And all of a sudden she gets a pay raise and a bonus. You know what I mean?
Did they pay the limo driver? Oh no, he's too late. He was on TV snitching.
They told him basically that he was getting pardoned. He don't believe it no more because he see everybody going to jail. He's like, shit, man, this don't look like a pardon's coming, bro.
Let me get on TV and say something.
I need to go ahead and start telling. Hey, but another thing, Israel attacks an Anwar shelter, kills at least 40 Gazans, many of them children.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Anwar is an aid organization that basically Jewish people, they've been saying lately that not Jewish, the Israeli government. Let me correct that. The Israeli government has been trying to say that these guys are like a terrorist organization, but they're national, they're like globally recognized. Anyways, in Gaza, an Israeli attack on an Anwar school and shelter has killed at least 40 Palestinians, including 14 children, in the Nassaret refugee camp. Dozens of people were injured in the attack. The school was being used to house displaced Palestinians. One survivor said he sought refuge at the school after being displaced from Gaza City, then Khan Yunis, and then Rafah. Survivors described the school as being shelled with a belt of fire. Man, like you got 14 kids, man. Like when they killed all those people at the other camp, when they bombed the other camp, they said we got 2 Hamas generals, which I don't even know if you did or didn't. No one knows.
Oh no, they were all underground. That's what they say. They're all underground.
You know what I mean? But you're bombing these camps. You know, like you're bombing these schools. You're bombing these sites where you know there's kids there. Oh, they're hiding inside. Well, go in there, go get them. How about that? Go get them.
Yeah, go get them. Go inside there. Get on your ground assault and go get them. No, they don't want to do that.
You guys got every fucking thing. You just want to bomb and kill civilians, just like they're killing civilians in southern Lebanon right now.
Yeah,
they're killing civilians, man. They just bombed a bunch of places out there. Indiscriminate bombing. That's why to me, man, you guys, we need to get a hold of these people over here, man. Period. Like I'm saying, we need to get a hold of Israel. We don't have a hold to them. We're giving you all this money. We're giving you all the support. We're sending you all the bombs.
And they're running our stuff.
And they run our government. They absolutely run our government 110%. This is not an anti-Semitic outburst. This is me saying that even the Israelis.
No, we're just stating the facts. We're showing you what's going on.
Israelis are saying the same thing about their government. They want you gone. They want Netanyahu out of office. They want him out of there.
Because their children are going to be the ones that have to suffer for this repercussion.
He's doing, man. This dude's, they're committing a genocide. He's wrapped up with an organization of far right wing Jewish politicians that are really like religious sycophants.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, that's really what you guys are. You guys are really religious zealots. That's what y'all are. I mean, it's like they talk so bad about people in the Middle East. All these guys, they're just a bunch of religious, zealots, whatever you want to call them. This is what their government's ran by. But your government's being ran by a bunch of basically your religion right now.
Yeah,
that's what it's being ran by. The Torah, whatever you want to call it. You guys are run off of things that off of what basically like not really premonitions, but like, oh, this was divine destiny or whatever the case may be. This is what you guys are looking at as being something that's real in real life right now. I'm not trying to say your religion's not real. Of course it is. It's real to you. You feel the way you feel about it. That's great. But the world doesn't revolve around what you guys believe that's in your Torah. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to keep you updated to this. So let us know. Listen, subscribe, share, hit that bell. Uncommon courtesy.